death hormone, what do you mean? I've never heard that term.
Okay. Has the term death hormone come about?
Death
Hormone? Yeah.
Death hormone, what do you mean?
Well-
I've never heard that term.
Okay. In the cryon works, they talk about how when we first came to Earth, we were living 700-800 years at a time. So needless to say, we were building up karma.
No, not in the beginning, there was no karma.
There wasn't?
No.
Well,
We were having fun.
oh, okay.
Earth was a playground.
Oh, all right. Well, they said that the creator gods decided to create a death hormone into the human
No,
so that their lives would be shorter.
no,
Not true?
no.
Okay. Also,
Let me tell you though, in your plan, when you're making your plan to come into this life, what you're going to hope to accomplish, in that plan you include your exit plan. You plan how you're going to leave the life. So that is built into your plan. And it's up to you, and of course you don't know what it is, and it can be changed. We found you could maybe stay around a little longer, but you decide how you're going to leave and when you're going to leave. And maybe you decide, hey, I haven't been run over by a train yet, let me try that. You know?
yeah, great.
Or you may make an arrangement with a group of people, say, okay, let's all go out together when the World Trade Center is bombed. You all make agreements to go in and out together. But I've never heard of a death hormone.
Okay.
Because you read my books on UFOs and ETs,
Not yet.
where they seeded us, they created us, put us on Earth. We were supposed to be the perfect human being. Like them. They don't die until they're ready to die. And we were supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be a perfect Garden of Eden. That we could live as long as we wanted and we would never get sick. But something happened while all the species was developing. A meteorite hit the Earth. And when it did, it brought for the first time bacteria that caused disease. And it ruined the plant. And I did see a special on, I think it was Noble one time, where they said there's two forms of life on Earth. Bacteria and everything else. The bacteria is the alien thing that doesn't belong on Earth. Because it introduced disease for the first time. And the ETs had to go back to the councils and they said, what do we do now? Our grand experiment has been ruined. It will never be the perfect species we wanted them to be. Do we just say, okay, stop everything, destroy what we have done, start over again? Or do we let it continue because there's been so much time and effort put into it? Do we let it continue knowing that it will never be the perfect species that it was supposed to be? It was decided because there was so much time and effort put into the development of the human race to allow it to continue. And that's why they're still coming to help us, because they want us to get back to that original state they wanted. And that's why they're checking people out, because they're very concerned about the increases of cancer and the different diseases and the additives in our food and all of these things. But they're checking our bodies to see how this is affecting the human body. But the only thing I can be as close as I can come to it is that this meteorite was not supposed to hit the Earth and bring in disease. But that's not a death hormone. No.
Okay. Just wanted to clear that up.
We are designed to live for a couple of 100 years. We can do it. Our bodies are made to do it. But we have the food, the atmosphere, the lifestyles.
Belief system.
belief system. You believe I can only live so long, and you do it to yourself.
Okay, just for clarification, when you're, clarify my voice, when you're between lives and you're making this contract with the different souls that you're going to include, and they make an agreement, okay, we'll do it. At the same time, tell me if I'm right, they're making their agreements and their plans to make, okay, if I'm going to do this for you, or I'm going to agree this is the arrangement we're going to make, and you're going to agree that this is the arrangement. So you've got all these contracts kind of intertwining and trying to take place at the same time in time and space. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I'm glad somebody up there is keeping track of it all.
Okay, thank you.
This is why suicide is not, it's frowned on. It's not a sin. Nothing is a sin. Because look at all the contracts you mess up. It used to be when we would do these, we would go to past lives, like I showed you on the tape of simple past lives. And this is what went on for years. And you can get ET stuff also. But now, since we have really established these 3 waves of volunteers, people are coming up with a totally different type of past lives when we're doing this. And it was coming up in our practice sessions, not even me explaining it. And they hadn't read the books, but yet they're getting the same information. And they didn't know what's going on here. So I want to warn you, tomorrow when you're doing your sessions, you may get these other types of lives. Now, don't be surprised if you get people as animals, as rocks, as flowers. These things are very possible. But also, if they're one of the waves of volunteers, you may get them going back to source, because they have never been on Earth before. They've never been in a human body at all. And source is always described as a bright light. Some of us say, I'm in the sun, but it doesn't feel hot. And it's always a huge bright light. And when they do that, they have gone back to source. And when they say that, I usually want them to describe it. What does it feel like? And sometimes they'll say, I feel very comfortable, I like it here, it's warm, it's friendly. And if I ask, is there anyone else with you? They'll say, I know there's others around, but I can't see them. But it's the feeling of togetherness. Everyone is together, because that's where you all started from. And but if you keep on asking questions, they'll say, I feel tremendous love, and I don't want to leave. So then you know they have gone back to source. And I let them talk about that for a while, but then the way I handle it is I usually say, well, if you were so happy there, because I sometimes say, is that all where we've ever been? Have you ever been in a human body before? No, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to get stuck in a body. And then I usually ask them,
Are you aware you're speaking? Are you aware you're speaking through a human body?
no, I usually say, if you were so happy there, why did you leave? I know they left. I'm talking to this body lying on the bed. If you were so happy there, why did you leave? I heard the call. They asked for volunteers. Earth was in trouble. I decided to come and help. And then I'll usually go along. I'll usually say, are you aware that you are speaking through a physical body now? And sometimes they'll say, well, I didn't know that, you know. Or they'll say, yes, I am. It's a body that's known as, what's your name? It's the body that we call John. He said, yes, I know that. And then begin to ask questions about it. Well, why did you decide to enter this body of John? Now, you may get some of this. Don't just drop it because it's bright light and you don't know what to ask. Follow it the way you're doing a normal past life. And another one you may come across tomorrow are there will be ETs living on spaceships or on other planets. because that was the other place that the volunteers come from. And sometimes it might shake you up. You're not looking for a simple past life, and you get this kind of stuff. But many of these volunteers agreed to come. They left their life. They were quite happy on the spaceship or on the other planet. They had no intention of coming to Earth, but they heard the call for volunteers, so they leave that life and come to Earth to help out now by their energy helping to be here. It's very, very important that the energy be here right now. And then when they're done here, they're going to go back to that life that that was their real life. So, if you get these kind of lives, don't be surprised. That's what I told her after the ones we're doing now with the practice sessions are coming up with these things, and they weren't expecting it. So they didn't know if it was doing it correctly or not. And this is what's happening more and more because we're getting a lot of these souls that have never been on Earth before.
Question is, what about when they're in between lives?
Well, that's a whole other process. It's a lot of fun. Well, there's lots of how to answer.
What about the right questions to ask?
Read my book, Between Death and Life. It's all in there. It tells you what it's like when they die, what it feels like, and where they go. There's a whole lot of places they can go to over there, but they usually go to the same ones again and again. And you just ask the questions. Remember, you're not leading anybody. You ask the questions and let them answer your questions.
Just be like her. Be very, very curious. What's going on now? Where are you going now? What do you want to do? Why? What are you doing? Just lots and lots of questions, and you will get your answers.
Because the questions are the most important thing.
Okay, the comment is then if you want to move them forward or backward, they get into a life at some point, probably, right?
Well, you mean they go to the spirit side when they first come off the cloud? Is that what you mean? That happens.
Or just when they're there. She just, whenever they're in the spirit side, just how do you handle the spirit side? But, we can do this to the nth degree. It really is just about being curious. Just ask your questions. Just get your information.
They'll usually go to the spirit side after they have died and left a body. If you want to take them there, you can. But then after that, you want to get to the subconscious. You don't want to go on to another life unless you got a long session. But sometimes they will come off of the cloud and they are in the spirit side. You'll learn to recognize it by the questions you ask. So these are all things for you to watch for when you're doing the practice. Got a question back here.
Yes. Just talk like you're talking to your best friend. That's correct. You're just going to ask questions. You're trying to get information. That's it. However you do that, talk to your friend. Just ask. Yes, we need to do this. Okay. We really have things we need to do to help you with your sessions tomorrow. So, this is something we have not done before, and we have been doing it in the level 2s. And so this is why we're going to do it now, because of what we're finding in level 2. We want to work with your voice, okay? That way you know how to work with it before your session, okay? If everybody wants to open their procedure book to the induction. If you do not have one, Travis had some in the back there.
Because in level 2, it's all about honing your skills. Because many of them have done several sessions and they're not having good results. So now in level 2, we're having them practice and going over things to make sure they're doing it correctly. And the voice is what we're finding they're having the most difficulty with.
Right, and that is one of your most important parts, is the voice. This is a very forgiving technique. It will still work. No matter what voice it will still work. It will work so much better when your voice is correct, okay? So we want to give you a kickstart out there.
Because Julia found out even in the first session she ever done, she made every mistake in the book, but it still worked. So it is a very forgiving technique. You don't have to go step by step like they do in the other hypnosis techniques. But it is better if you get these skills down. Now in the level 2, we have each one going through. We had 40 in the level 2. We had here each one show me their voices. And I think we had 1 or 2 out of 40 that were even close to
No, we had a few more in this last group.
We had some that were good, but none of them that were absolutely correct. Only maybe 2 that were close.
But what we're going to do, because the room's so large and you haven't had time to break, we're going to give you, what they've always asked is, after they found out they were not using the correct voice, or the best voice, let's put it that way, the better voice that they can use, then we just had Dolores go ahead and go through it, and then they're saying it with her so that you can get the beat and the meter and get the feel of it, all right? So that's what we're going to do today. We're all going to say this together with her, and you can do it quietly so you can hear her and just follow her cadence. Follow it with her, okay? And it's going to start, she's not going to do the first part where it's, see a red bird and everything. You're going to start it. This is the part of the mind.
Because this is where you are speaking and they are not answering you. That we can do it that way. I know we've done this 2 level 2s now where we've done this. And the first one, they said, I see you're using a beat of 4. I don't know what it is, but you have to dot, to dot, to dot, to dot. This is very important. And if you noticed in the recording, I draw the words out as you get softer and softer, and you keep going. Some of the ones we have heard, they're like they're reading, and they're too fast, or they're way, way too slow, or they do it like they're reading, because you don't use your normal voice. Yeah.
No, don't get that. The question was, can you practice with a metronome?
Don't get that nitpicky.
Yeah, it just you're putting a baby to sleep, so just think about that, and you're going to put on your soft voice, and you're going to do your lullaby, and you're going to see that. Just get into that mode.
Okay.
This is going to be on the USB for us. This is the first time we're doing this, so we will. Actually, it's in the forum. They're going to upload it on the forum from when we did it before. And the forum, Candace will be here on Friday talking about that. That is the support group for you.
So she's going to put it on the forum.
Yeah, there are a lot of recorders going on in the room. I guess if you do that, you can pass it around. Absolutely.
But this is just to give you an idea, because tomorrow you're going to be on your own. And I know it's a little scary when you first do it, and you feel like you're there reading it, and you're worried you're going to make a mistake. But the more you do this, you get to where you memorize it, and you don't have to sit there and read and sound like you're reading. But tomorrow it's okay, because you're just going to be practicing. But she thought it would be good to get the idea of how it's supposed to sound. Okay. So we'll do that, and then we're going to get the instructions on how we're going to form our groups and what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay. So just follow along with me anyway. We're going to start with, this is a part of the mind. And we only go through to the beautiful place, and that's all. We're not going to do the coming off the cloud or any of that stuff. This is just to get the idea. Okay. You We've already done see the red bird and all of that, the green tree. This is the part of the mind we will be working with today. This is the part of the mind that has the pictures and the memories. This is the part of the mind that is active at night when you are sleeping, because this is the part that has the images and the symbols that we use in our dreams. So this is the part of the mind we will be working with today. So just for this little while that we do this today, have no problems and no worries. Time enough for that later. They will always be there later. But just for this little while that we do this today, have nothing to worry about. So enjoy the way that feels to not have anything to worry about. And enjoy the way it feels to have relaxation moving through the body. And as the relaxation moves through the body, if there are any tensions anywhere in the body, they will flow right out. Flow right out. Let them go. Let them go. We don't need them. We don't need them. So enjoy the way that feels to not have anything to think about, and enjoy the feeling of relaxation moving through the body. This is a luxury that very few people are allowed, to take a little time out of their busy day to just relax and not have to think about anything. So take advantage of it while you can and enjoy the experience. And remember that when you awaken, you will feel wonderful all over. Just as you're going too fast, just as though you've had a nice nap, a nice sleep. You will feel truly rested and refreshed. Anytime you do anything like this, it will always be an enjoyable experience. Pause. Also remember, if you hear any sounds in the room or any sounds outside of the room, they are only natural noises occurring in the background. They will not bother you or distract you in any way. If you hear anything, it will just fade and become part of the background. And I usually say there, and this is very good. I don't think we need to do any more. Do you see what I'm doing? It's a continuous beat and it's soft. You began to try to speed up there a little bit.
Yeah, actually, you did good. Can you remember what you did? Keep that in you. because you did good. Yeah, exactly, keep a steady pace.
A steady pace, slow, soothing, and you got that beat. Ta-da, 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 ta-da.
Question was, do you slow down as you keep going?
Well, your voice is getting softer and slower, but you don't want to get too slow. Some people are going, this is the part of the mind we will be working with. Now we're hearing videos of people doing this, and I'm sitting there all for Pete's sake.
Now, what happens to you if you were hearing that? What does it do to you? I mean, it wakes you up, you get aggravated, you're like, well, you speed up. I mean, it's not doing it. It's not, you think, I think people think if I go slower, it'll be better. No, it doesn't. You want a beat, you're singing.
Steady.
You're singing, you're not,
And you also don't want to go too fast. This is part of the mind we'll be working with today, etc., etc. You're going too fast. And sometimes they start and break at the wrong places, and like you're reading. You had one time you said, what was it, too fast or too slow?
well, it's too fast, but, and sometimes it's very jerky, because that happens a lot of times when you're reading. If you're not paying attention. You can read this and be melodic at the same time. You just did it, okay? That's not hard to do. I think some people get caught up and I'm reading, I can't be melodic. You can read, be melodic, and watch that person all at the same time. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a melodic thing. You're singing, you're caressing.
You're putting the baby to sleep.
Exactly. So, okay.
So she said maybe that would help to do it here rather than wait till level 2 when they're
Yeah, after you've
doing all
done
of
10,
these
15, 20,
sessions.
40 sessions of finding out your voice has never been right.
And then they're having all these mistakes and they can't get it, and then we find out that's what it is. They're not using the right kind of voice. Yeah.
Question?
Yeah, my question is, have you heard of anyone recording it at the time, like singers they use, they have the thing in their ear, they hear it, but and they're repeating it, but.
Never heard. Okay, the question or the comment was, have you ever heard of anyone recording them doing the induction or the induction ahead of time, putting it in their ear? I guess that would be kind of like the metronome question, so you could repeat it or keep the beat and everything.
If you want to be that nitpicky, okay.
Yeah.
But
To practice, I mean, it's up to you. Whatever works for you, to get it better. So.
the more practice you do, the easier it'll become. That's why we tell people when they leave this class, practice, practice, practice. You can't become an expert at anything the first day you take a class. You don't ride a bicycle the first time you get on it. Everything takes practice.
Now, something I'll share when I was first starting, one of the things that I did, and maybe it's because I'm around her all the time, I kept hearing her voice in my head, Dolores's voice, so I would just be doing what I heard, so it's kind of like the same thing. But I didn't have to have a recording, I had her voice in my head. And a lot of people are saying, they go to, what would Dolores do, or things like that. You are, in your flash drive, you're going to have these sessions that she was playing, and they had inductions, they had these different things on there. So you will hear it many times. If that's what it takes to do it, to get it stuck in your head of what it sounds like, because that's all I did. I was just mimicking her all the time. I just mimicked. So.
Anyway, tomorrow we want you to do the induction and go through the session
do
just
the
the
session.
way I did. You have a question?
Because the question was, why can't we take that part where she's doing it and just use that? You just want to cheat, don't you?
I spent, yeah. You're going to cheat, yeah. I spent years getting this together. Everything I have in there is for a reason.
No, what she's saying is, why can't they record where you've done it, use that to put the person down? It's gotta be your
I had a
voice.
psychiatrist friend one time, and he was asking me, what am I doing wrong in his clinical hypnosis? He had many clients going at once, and he had them in different rooms. And he said, I had them with earphones, and they're listening to the induction going down. Somebody else's voice. Then he comes in to do the other part. He comes in, and it's a different voice. It jolts them back, and he said, why won't they, I know they're under, why don't they stay under? Because you change voices.
So you record yourself
Yeah.
in induction, so you don't have to do that first part every time.
Why do you want to keep shortcutting this? It's short enough. She's saying, why
It's
can't you record
already
your
one of the shortest inductions in the hypnosis field.
Exactly. You got to be there. Just be there. It's only 10 minutes. Come on.
What was her question? What does she want to cut out?
She wants to record it ahead of time, so you play the recording and then you just come in, and so you're not doing that part. And it's like, it's already
What
just
did I
a short
just
one.
say? You change voices.
No, herself. Now she's recording her voice. Just do it, okay? Just do it.
And what did I say? You have to watch the body signs as you're going down.
Then just do it.
Do you know how long traditional hypnosis are taught? It take an hour to put the person under. Now that you'd have problems with because it wears you out. This is fast.
Absolutely. You can do this. You can do it. Just,
No problem.
it's not complicated. It's not hard. Please do not make it so. It is easy. Just do it and just hear her voice. Okay? Just do it in your nice,
Please don't
soothing
try to
melodic.
change it.
Right.
It's got
Okay.
a reason.
And I think this is almost addressed the other day, but I just would like to get some clarity around it. When you start out with somebody and they say, if I were to ask you to see a red ball, can you see it for me? And they say, no, I don't see it.
Okay.
Okay, let me tell you what
Okay,
to do.
did everybody hear the question?
Tell
Okay.
her to repeat the
I will
question.
repeat it for the cameras. If you ask someone, if I ask you to see a red bird, could you see one, and they say no, then what do you do?
Okay. Now I said earlier, in other countries they don't have red birds. You may have to change it to something else. But in America, everybody knows what a red bird looks like. So if I say, see a red bird, and can you see one for me? And they'll say no. I'll say, what kind of a bird is red? They'll say, oh, a cardinal. What does a cardinal look like? Or you can just say, what does a red bird look like? They'll start describing it. Oh, it's red, it's got this little point on the top, and it's got a little black on its face. When they start describing it, they're going into the right side of the brain where the picture is. And then if you get to the yellow flower, they say, can you see a yellow flower? No. What kind of a flower is yellow? They'll say, oh, a daffodil or a daisy or whatever. See, you're making them go into the other part of their brain.
Just get to where there's a lot of people that aren't visual.
They are. They will see it. They will.
Don't attract that to yourself.
Because these are things you see every day.